the end of the show.
NHL DFS Strategy Show. I'm your host, Jake Hari. I am here with the goalie assist getter, Josh Harris, who bubbled on Saturday. We were talking about it. How's it going, Josh? First show of the year for me and you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Even at the end of last season, you guys were pumping me and Cliffy because we were getting the ratings. But sometimes, we need your hair on the show to boost the ratings, and here you are.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Numbers are pretty good so far. It seems like we've had a pretty engaged crew. You guys are doing an awesome job, getting a lot of positive feedback in the comments, in the YouTube comments, in the chat, in the Discord that we've got. So it's been a good season. Haven't had a ton of time to talk to you specifically. How did your weekend go, Jonathan? Quick assist aside.
It wasn't too bad. My schedule is crazy because I'm working at my pizza place on the weekend. So Friday I work till midnight. I drive home. I'm an hour away. So I get home like 1 a.m, go to sleep, get the 9 a.m. show with Cliffy Saturday morning. Then I go to work from 11 to 11. So it's a psychotic schedule, but Johnny Quick, I was hoping it would be Cal Peterson. I'm not a huge Quick guy, but he got me that assist to min cash me. So I'm not broke yet. So we're hoping to win big tonight.
One of the guys that I'm friends with online wanted to sweat a lineup with me. And I usually don't play like higher stakes stuff, like single entry stuff, but I did on Saturday because he wanted to split the entry with me. So I had McDavid, I had a full Edmonton one stack, but I had Fleury in my lineup and Erod. And so Fleury got just lit up in the first period, gets pulled, scores 4 goals against him. Erod, Evan Rodriguez had 0 points after the 4 goals. So I'm swapping. And I was thinking about swapping to the Kings, but it was a small field tournament. I didn't feel like I needed to get that crazy. Ended up swapping to Colorado 1, who almost got there for me. Swapped off Edmonton 1. Would have had a nice cash in the tournament had I kept Edmonton 1, but did not. So that's how my Saturday went. Although I had another decent lineup in the 333 with Kings 1. I was a couple of points short of taking that down. So kind of an all over the place weekend. Friday, I got absolutely demolished. Didn't have a shot in anything. So
Friday was
hoping this week is a little bit better. I think overall it was a pretty decent first week. I think pricing has been a little bit soft on some of the main sites so far. What do you think?
Yeah. NBA guys who haven't started yet. And, I saw our own Ship My Money had a good night the other night. He finished second in the big tournament for 7,500. So NBA starts tomorrow. So I would imagine the prices start sharpening and the GPP pools start shrinking. That's what happens when NBA comes around. But that's when the fields get a bit sharper. And that's when hopefully you can make some more money.
Yeah, the price pools are going to shrink at some point, but there's really no reason to believe that they should right now. Everything's filling so far. I noticed on DraftKings, on Yahoo, a lot of things are filling. Yahoo's a sponsor of the show today, as you guys know. I've been playing over on Yahoo a bunch. I think it's pretty soft, and I like their plus minus. It's kind of like FanDuel from 5 years back. I think that was 4 or 5 years when they had plus minus. It's a little bit tough on shorter slates like tonight. But I think if you just start by stacking as much as you can, I think the most you can do with forwards is a 3-2, and you don't play guys like you just make a rule in Fantasy Cruncher or just pay attention to your lineup so you're not playing forwards against forwards on the other team and defensemen if you can avoid it. So 2 and 3 gamers are a little bit tough. On 4 gamers, I think you can get away with that. And, there's not too many pros over on Yahoo. I'm not noticing a lot of names as I'm scrolling through when I'm playing. So been enjoying playing over there. I think you guys should give it a shot if you haven't just yet. Anything else you want to talk about before we start getting into these games? We only got 4 today.
Yeah, short slate. I don't know. I wrote the Power Plays article for Awesemo. Should be up soon. If you like the Leafs, I suggest reading it. I think I wrote up everybody on the Leafs, including their strength and conditioning coach tonight. I really like the Leafs. So, yeah, little hint going to the first game tonight.
Yeah. The Leafs are going to be very popular. We've got our ownership projections up. They're near the top. We've got all the tools up on the site right now. I'm going to go through the slate with the lineup builder. Maybe we can get it screen shared up there at some point. I don't know. But it's nhl.lineups.awesemo.com. That's the free version if you guys want to follow along. Really nice view of everything. You got implied totals. If you get the premium version, you've got point projections, ownership projections right next to each player. And then another cool feature is the full stack projection for forwards. So that forward plus is 2 even strength line mates. So really cool look at everything, whether you're hand building or if you're going to build, or if you just want to, project the matchups, you're going to line matching and stuff like that. It's a great tool to follow along with. See a bunch of people have already joined. If you guys could drop us a like and definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in everything. It is an absolutely jam-packed schedule for not only this week, but pretty much the next 4 months until NFL stops. We'll have daily NHL shows. We'll have daily MLB until that's done. So we've only got another week and a half or so of MLB, and then NBA starting tomorrow, as you mentioned, Josh. We'll also have PGA, college football, NFL. We're just covering everything. So if you're interested in any one of those, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in sports betting, we've got a sports betting channel. It's called Awesemo Odds. If you're interested in season-long fantasy football, we've got another channel, Awesemo Fantasy Football. So if you like watching us, we've pretty much got something going on every single day on YouTube, articles as well on the site. So you guys know the deal. Just subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be offering you pretty much anything you would like to watch shows on for the next few months. Promo code CROSSCHECK. This is almost going away. It's the last call. CROSSCHECK, one word, all caps. It's 75% off your first week of Awesemo NHL. It's just $3. You can get access to everything that Josh and I are going to talk about today. Any tools that we reference. So projections, ownership, top stacks. That's pretty much everyone's favorite tool. The lineup builder, the premium version, and then the Discord. Now I can say it. Discord, we've officially moved over to Discord, no longer on Slack. A lot of happy campers that we're no longer dealing with Slack, and we're going over to Discord. So if you guys need to join, just message me on Twitter. We will also have a free version in the future, but right now it's just for premium subs. If you use the promo code CROSSCHECK, you can get in that and come start sweating the games with us. Very active NHL chat for the first week, hoping that keeps up throughout NBA season. All right. Time to talk about the games. They're up to my left on the screen. If you guys want to follow along there, again, Awesemo NHL lineup builder. It's another way you can see which order we're going in. We're going to start with the Rangers and the Maple Leafs, Igor Shesterkin and Jack Campbell, your projected goalies. You already hinted at the Toronto ownership. We already hinted at the Toronto ownership. They're going to be popular on both sites, coming up as the highest owned stack right now in our projections for DraftKings. Is there a reason to get away from the Leafs tonight? It sounds like you're all over them as well, even for one lineup.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Matthews in cash games, you just lock button him. It's no brainer there. Where you want to get different in GPPs is, I don't know if you want to use the Leafs top line, but if you do full stack it, they're only 18-9 because of Nick Ritchie. And I think, if you put in Nick Ritchie in that 3-man stack, it's going to lower the ownership of the 3 pretty drastically because there's going to be heavy ownership on Matthews and Marner. So you put in Ritchie there and you hope to get a little contrarian there. They're going to get the Zibanejad line, which, isn't great. Kreider's out of position. Lafreniere, on that line is a bit weird. But you start going down the lineup on the Rangers, you notice that, Strome and Kakko are out. They're both on IR. So their second line is Panarin, Hedel, and Gaudreau. And then which means their bottom 6 is absolutely decimated. So I think if you want to get away from the Leafs one chalk, you can look at Leafs two for sure. They're coming in less than half the ownership is Leafs one. Tavares is back with Nylander, who is the best Leafs forward. If you're a Marner fan, cover your ears, but just look at the numbers. It's all numbers don't lie. I really like the Leafs second line tonight in GPPs, Bunting, Tavares, Nylander. You get the power play one with Tavares and Nylander. And even if, you want to go down to that third line, because they're going to get the bottom six of the Rangers. And, the line itself isn't super appealing, like Kerfoot, Kampf, and Kasha. I really like Kasha. I wrote him up in the article today just as a cash game play because he's $2,700 on DraftKings and he shoots the puck. But if you want to, get really contrarian in a high total game, you can use that third line as a filler because they're going to get either, like the Kevin Rooney line or the Morgan Barron, Drayden Hunt line. Like they just recalled Barron up. So I'm not gonna, be like, oh, don't play, the Matthews line GPPs. They can easily score, 4 or 5 goals like that. But if you're worried about the ownership, I think, a great pivot is the Leafs second line. And I'm kind of out on the Rangers tonight. I don't think I'll be full stacking anything. I think if you want to, one-off Panarin, I think that's fine. He is a little bit pricey. You want to two-man him with Hedl. I guess that's okay. But really, until they get a bit more healthier, this is just a tough spot to use Rangers.
Yeah, it is a tough spot. I mean, even as a 150 max, I'm getting to a bunch of Zibanejad one-offs. I experiment more with one-offs on these shorter slates. So I'm fine with that and getting exposure to the Rangers with like some two-man stacks. I mentioned Panarin, Edel, Zibanejad, Kreider, if you want to go with two guys in the top power play. Like the thing is, like, so Matthews is just like so amazing offensively, but they had really strong defensive numbers last year when he was on the ice with Marner. Maybe Zach Hyman, like not having Hyman probably hurts that a little bit, but like it's something that Homer Cleese used to talk about all the time on these shows a couple of years ago, like path of least resistance. You don't want to go up against the line that's constantly going to have the puck in your zone, even if they're not great defensively. They're cycling all the time offensively and they're using up all your shifts like that. You could be in trouble. So I'm a little bit worried about Zibanejad line as a full stack, but I mean, hard not to like him just for his, power play prowess. And I guess he does play with Kreider, who's also listed on the top power play as well. So you got a decent two-man there. I don't play a lot of Lafreniere in my stacks, like especially on these shorter slates. So if he goes off, I'll just have to move it on to the next slate probably. But the Leafs, you said it all. I mean, it's a great spot for them. It's high ownership, but if you're not doing like full 3-3s, I don't think you have to worry about getting duped that heavily tonight on some of your Leafs one lineups. You want to drop down to Leafs two. I think they're great. I heard you say Nylander is their best forward on the Saturday show, so you're doubling down on that.
I'm flag planting on William Nylander.
Yeah, I mean he's got a couple of goals right in his first couple of games.
Yeah, he's Cliffy talks about all the time with Marner's numbers with Matthews off the ice, it just craters. But like Nylander in the beginning of the season, even without Tavares, he was scoring, he was playing big minutes, he was driving play. So I'm a huge fan. He's on a way better contract than Marner. Maybe I'm just a little sour about Marner in general, but I'm a big Nylander guy.
Yeah, fair enough. I did notice one thing about Marner, and maybe this has just had to do with Matthews being out. He had 14 shot attempts in game one. I'm looking right now on Natural Stat Trick just to see if that kind of rate even came close to keeping up in game two. I mean, it was against the Senators, so there's going to be a lot of shots to go around usually.
Oh, there is no Artem Zub slander allowed. He's the man. No, but the Senators are terrible defensively.
Zub aside. Yeah. The Leafs played 3 games. Okay. 27 shot attempts in 3 games from Marner. That's pretty good, but over half of those in 1 game. So I was wondering maybe he's just going to be more aggressive this season, but it's probably just due to there being more attempts going around with Matthews out, and I would expect him to be more of a playmaker on Matthews' line, anyways. So, yeah, I mean, Leafs two-mans. You could go to Matthews, Marner. I don't mind leaving on Richie though. We've got him at quite a bit lower ownership than Matthews. He's going to be the third wheel. He's going to be the guy people leave off in Toronto one stacks. Like, I'm fine leaving him on. Like, he might be literally a third of the ownership of Matthews in some of these large field tournaments. And not a terrible player and playing with two really talented guys. If he's going to get left off, I like getting over the field on him, even if I'm not over the field on Matthews and Marner. What about anyone on the blue line? Anyone here you're looking at? Oh, I'll just second the Kasha call. I mean, his price is just way too low. Maybe a little bit of a decrease in minutes with Matthews back and him getting pushed down to the third line, but it seems like they like him and he's just going to fire away for 2,700. So I like the call there.
Yeah, blue line, not super enthusiastic about anyone. If you're using the Rangers power play, you can use Adam Fox. I don't know if I'd want off him. He's a bit pricey. There's other spots that I like. And he's not a huge peripherals guy. He's more reliant on scoring DFS-wise anyway. If you want to punt Keandre Miller under 3K, I think that's fine. Trouba, if you're in that, 4,500 range on DraftKings down to your one-off, I think he's fine. On the Leaf side, if you want to correlate Riley with the power play, I think that's fine. I'm not going to go out of my way to one-off Riley. Rasmus Sandin at 3,000 power play 2 is someone that I will look to one-off. But that's about it from this game.
All right. Muzzin's minutes were down. Are him and Hull going to play? I was tweeting out as you were talking there. Just a link to the show, but is Hull
was on for skate and he's expected to play tonight. I don't know about Hull, but I did see Muzzin was going to play tonight.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, 4,600. I mean, I didn't know when I was going through projections earlier today how to project him, because the difference between 16, 17, 18 minutes compared to 21, 22, and he saw even more than that at times last season. That's a huge difference at 4,600. So a little bit intrigued on Muzzin because he's a guy that could easily get the blocks bonus. The Rangers aren't great defensively, but I think they're going to be able to put up some shots at the very least against this Toronto team. Keandre Miller, 2,800. I heard you talking about him a little bit. I don't mind that as a punt. And then Fox would just be in Ranger stacks. I think I might actually end up making that rule in Fantasy Cruncher as I do with some of these defensemen. He's just so expensive that it feels like if Fox has a big game, even if he gets one of the bonuses, I feel like for him to be in a winning lineup tonight, he's you're probably going to need some Rangers forwards if they score 3 or 4 goals and Fox gets a couple assists and maybe picks up a bonus. So that is my reasoning behind him. Riley is just a guy that I play if you're playing the Leafs top power play, and that's pretty much it. All right, let's go to game 2. We'll talk about goalies at the end. I know people like the goalie talk. I don't know if there's been any talk and chat about it yet, but we'll save goalies for the end. Let's go to Seattle and Philadelphia. 2.8 implied total for the Kraken, 3.1 for the Flyers. Grubauer is expected. Carter Hart is confirmed for the Flyers. You wrote up one of the lines in this game in the Power Plays article. You want to talk about which one it was?
Yeah, I wrote up the Flyers top line in the Power Plays article today. They're identically priced to the Leafs top line, and they're coming in at a quarter of the ownership. And they're getting a Kraken team on a long road trip on the East Coast. I think they go home after this. I'm not sure. I have to look at their schedule, but they're coming to the end of a long East Coast road trip. They do get the McCann, Eberle, Schwartz line. That's a decent line. I'm definitely going to look to play them more, especially when they're at home. But you mentioned in the last game, Couturier line, very good defensively, very good offensively. So, and they fully chlorate on the power play, and they're coming in 7-8% on a 4-game slate in a 3.1 total. This is a great spot to get contrarian for the people who have, around 19,000 and are deciding between the Leafs and the Flyers. I think getting an elite line fully correlated on the power play under 10% on a 4-game slate. Sign me up in GPPs for sure. In cash, obviously, I'm going to side with Matthews, but GPPs, this is a great pivot. It's a plus matchup for them, fully correlated. So they're one of my favorite. And if you look at their top stacks tool at the Awesemo top stacks, they're still third for top 2 stack percentage at 18.5. They're the best leverage stack of the night. I think, that's how you if you use Leafs 1, you're going to have to differentiate yourself elsewhere. If you just lock in Flyers 1, you don't really have to worry about am I going to get duped with Matthews here? you can get a bit more creative. So I really like the Flyers top line. Going down the line, I don't know if I want to play, 4,500 Derek Brassard, but I do like Joel Farabee and Cam Atkinson. Don't mind them as a duo. On the Seattle side, I think, I do like that Seattle top line, but seeing their ownership is a bit concerning for me, especially going into the Couturier matchup at around 20%. That's going to be a pass for me. I want to get them when they're lower owned, especially at home where they can dictate the matchups. So for me, this is a Flyers one game. I think if you want to one-off a Ryan Donato who gets power play time, because, if Carter Hart, not great, and especially after you get past Couturier matchup, it's the Flyers are a bit dicey defensively. So if you want to use that second line like a Donskoy, your boy Wenberg is way overpriced at 5,600. So I think after the top line, it's a, Donato one-off or a Donskoy one-off, but I think, the Flyers are a bit sketchy defensively after the Couturier line.
Yeah, so you mentioned dictating the matchups. Sometimes we call it last change. For anyone that's new, that's dabbling in hockey DFS, line matching is a thing that happens. So basically, when there's a dead puck, home team gets to the road team has to put out their skaters first, and then the home team gets to counter. And so there's an actual tangible advantage to being at home in NHL. And so when you got a great shutdown line like Couturier, Giroux, and Konechny, although we don't know what their numbers are going to be like this year, Couturier is one of the best two-way centers in the NHL. Just a guy that you probably don't want to go against if you can avoid it. And so them being matched up against this McCann, Schwartz, Eberle line, that's probably something I'm looking to avoid in terms of just playing Seattle 1 a lot. I get that it's a short slate, and me having 150, I'm probably not ballsy enough to just completely cross out Seattle 1, but it'd be something I'd be doing on a bigger slate likely, just because of how much respect I have for Philadelphia 1. Could they get there? Sure. I mean, Philadelphia takes a couple penalties. Maybe Carter Hart has an off game. Seattle 1's on the top power play, but you mentioned the second line, and you were kind of joking about Wenberg, and I don't think you need to play Wenberg, but if you want to play Donskoy at 5,200, really, really good one-off guy. So when you're projecting a guy like Donskoy, he doesn't always project as a great value because his price is high, because his ceiling games have been so high historically, playing on teams like the Avs. And so that's why you don't see him as a great value. But I think he is a really great low-owned one-off guy that's going to get some of the softer Philadelphia matchups here. I like your call on Philadelphia 1. Seems like a pretty clear pivot spot. We'll see if the ownership ends up getting anywhere close to the neighborhood of Toronto 1. I doubt it will, because we still got Calgary to talk about in the next game, and then St. Louis. There's 4 clear teams that people are going to be on in terms of top stacks tonight, it looks like. And Philadelphia is one of them, but it looks like they're going to be 3rd or 4th in ownership. So I like it a lot. Let's see, even Seattle 3, I think Geeky and Donato 2-man, kind of like that as a 2-man stack that I'll be mixing in. Both guys get power play time, not in the same unit, but you can stack them with Giordano or something like that, or even go Geeky, Donato, and Donskoy, and get 3 decent forwards at really, really low ownership. So that's what I'll probably be doing with Seattle. Anything to try to avoid playing a lot of that top line. JVR, another guy like Donskoy, who does have some upside, doesn't project great in terms of median projections, but I think he is another good low-owned one-off guy. We've got him at about 6% right now for 5K. Anything else on the forwards here? Do you want to talk defenseman?
Defenseman, if you're using Flyers 1, you can stick in a bag of bones Keith Yandel. He's still super cheap. He's on the top power play, 3,400. If you're talking one-offs, I think Ryan Ellis, he's a bit pricey and his ownership is really high, but I really do like him. On the Seattle side, obligatory Jamie Alexiak mention. I think you can one-off him at 3,900. Hayden Fleury is someone I want to play, but I see his ownership over 10% at 2,900. That does scare me a little bit. But he, and minutes have been a bit of a concern so far with Seattle, but I don't mind Hayden Fleury.
And you want to, I played Susie the other night in that high stakes lineup I was talking about. I think he got me a couple blocks. Like he's 2,500. If he's going to play with Mark Giordano, he's not going to play power play, but like he is a guy I know the Wild really, really liked. And he was a guy that was talked about as like an up and comer when he was on the Wild. Like, you know, you could probably be worse than Susie for $2,500. There's not a lot of min salary guys that you can project for 17, 18, 19 minutes. So don't hate him. You had to mention Alexiak, your boy, still holding on to that from a couple years ago. I think you played him for maybe like 11 straight slates.
At least
Dallas went nuts in the playoffs.
Captain him. He hit the block bonus for sure, and then he went on like a goal scoring rampage for him. He had like 2 goals in like 8 games.
Yeah, it's a rampage. Do you dip down to fourth lines at all? Like, let's say you're making like 20 lineups. Would you ever consider playing a fourth line guy, like an actual fourth liner? Not when like Jeff Skinner was on the fourth line for Buffalo for 3 months straight. Like, would you play Nick Kubel on a 4-game slate?
If he was getting secondary power play time, I would consider it because he is a name that people do recognize a little bit. It's not like Maxwell Willman, like that name's made up. Like that, there's no way that's a real player. Like that's like
a real player. There's a naming issue too. He's Max somewhere and he's Maxwell elsewhere. So that's always a fun one.
No, this guy's like when you like fast forward 3 seasons in your franchise mode and you drafting like random play. Like this is a generated player. Like that's what it is. But like Abe Kubel is someone, if he was getting secondary power play time on a 4-game slate, I would consider it. But tonight, I don't think you really need to dip down that low.
Oh, we should talk about Keith Yandel. Not in terms of like I want to play Keith Yandel, but he's top power play guy. I would just be careful with him. He's fine to play with Philadelphia 1, but if you just see a $3,400 power play 1 guy and you're new, Keith Yandel sucks. So yes, he could get 2 secondary assists like what he had last game. That's not a very likely outcome, even if Philadelphia 1 goes off. So would say play him only with Philadelphia 1 stacks and do it in very few. Just sprinkle them in here and there. Would not be going crazy playing Keith Yandel ever. He's been washed up for like 3 years. Like
that's
legitimately terrible on Florida, and they kept throwing him out of the top power play.
Yeah, he is just not the player he was when he was on the Coyotes, but he's still there, hanging on.
He is indeed. It's still on a top power play somehow. They hate Provorov. They hate Ryan Ellis. I don't understand. I shouldn't say they hated him. They both played like 28 minutes last game, which is insane. All right. Before we get to the next game, as you guys know, Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports is the sponsor of the show. We've got 2 things coming up. Really amazing offers that you guys can take advantage of. First, the one that you've heard me and Cliffy talk about. You can get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. That's a $90 value. When you are new to Yahoo, you sign up for an account via the link in the description. It's the second link in the description. You have to deposit at least $10 and then play a Yahoo contest. Yahoo will send us your username after you play, and then we'll send you a coupon code to unlock that free month. So super easy offer, and you get it's a $90 value, and you barely have to do anything. You just have to try out Yahoo. So if you're new, you've heard us talk about Yahoo and you haven't pulled the trigger yet, well, you're getting a free month for basically no charge, just for trying out a new site that's better, honestly. Like, they're playing 12% management fees over there. They're doing $150K guaranteed overlay on NFL Sundays. Like, I got crushed yesterday playing NFL. I played on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. I think I lost like 85% of my entry fees on FanDuel and DraftKings, and I made money on Yahoo somehow just because of the guaranteed overlay contest. So if you don't know what overlay is, it's just when the contest doesn't fill. Yahoo's doing that on purpose for you. So you're just making it easier to win. And again, you get a free month when you try them out. So there's really no reason not to try this out. You can even get in the $150K Monday night, Yahoo Baller that's going off tonight. They've got single game DFS, had some success playing over there. I think the first slate, and then been a little bit cold over on Yahoo playing NFL Showdown.
Defenses, though, which is great.
What'd you say?
No defenses, no kickers.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And 12% management fee on that tournament tonight compared to the industry standard, which is about 16 on these large field tournaments. So go play on Yahoo, go take advantage, use the tools on the site. We've got NFL specific tools for Yahoo. So we're making it really, really easy for you to go play there. It helps everybody out when you do. Well, it helps us out. I don't know if it helps out other people outside of the Awesemo sphere, but it's going to help you out. So let's go to Anaheim and Calgary. Third game of the slate. We're halfway through. We've got about 25 minutes left or so. Ducks, Flames. It's going to be John Gibson, I think. I'm not seeing confirmation on the lineup builder just yet, but I did see that he was available to play tonight, and he wasn't a couple of days ago when the Ducks last played. It's going to be Jacob Markstrom for the Flames. Been playing the Ducks the first couple slates they've been on, and boy, has that not gone well. Calgary, very popular top line here. They're changing some things around. They get Blake Coleman for the first time this season. He's playing with Backlund and Lucic. We don't like Lucic, but we've been Backlund guys for a while. And then you've got a pretty quality second line with Monahan and Mangiapane and Dylan Dubé. This Calgary 2 line, you're going up against dumpster fire Anaheim Ducks. So is this a spot for the Josh stack? If you want to tell people what the Josh stack is, anybody new? Our favorite stack on the site.
Yeah, you can use 6 guys from the same team on DraftKings anyway. Try to get the full power play one, your favorite one off forward in there. Use the goalie, otherwise it's not a true Josh stack. And you'll owe me 7.5% in royalty fees. No, not really, but yeah, I'm not sure, because anytime the Calgary Flames are chalk, it makes me very nervous, because who has let you down more in a chalk spot than the Flames? I honestly can't think of anybody. It is kind of hard to fit Toronto.
The Dallas Stars, Dallas's top line.
Yeah.
They've let us down quite a few times. And Nashville, I would say, are the 2 other candidates.
Yeah. Dallas, the old Dallas one is probably the biggest letdown spot of all time. But, chalk Calgary on a short slate does worry me. They are gonna, they're in a great matchup, especially if it's not Gibson, if it's Delars, even though he's from my state, Edison, New Jersey. I just, he played out of his mind the other night. He had 43 saves against the Wild, but I don't know. I think I'd rather go to Toronto 1 or Philly 1 over the Flames top line. I'm not going to begrudge anyone from using them fully correlated on the top power play, but man, it just feels like a letdown spot here. If you like them, go for it. It's not something. They're not going to be a primary target for me. They'll be a secondary option, especially if I'm going 20 to 150. I think I would probably be under the field. They're coming in around 30%. It's just too much for me. Going down the lines here, I like that second line just because of an ownership play here. I don't necessarily love them. I do like Mangiapane. Monahan doesn't do too much for me. The Flames should have traded him a few years ago when he was actually still good, but it is what it is. I think you can go to the Flames second line if you want to get a bit contrarian. And that third line, I think, is going to be a popular third line tonight. You can leave off Lucic if you want. He doesn't get any power play time like he was last year, but the Backlund-Coleman combo should be pretty good. Their ownership does worry me a little bit. They're both coming in around 17, 18%, but I think you can find ways to differentiate, like adding in Lucic if you want to full stack that line. I can't believe
Saul's going to have a day with that one.
Saul's going to just kill me for that, but it is what it is. Backlund and Coleman get power play 2 time. So yeah, Calgary 3 is fun. Calgary 1, it's a great spot. I just worry about ownership. Calgary 2, not my favorite line, but because of the ownership in a high total game, I think you can stack as well. And then Calgary 3, my favorite, value stack of the night. Yeah. On the Duck side, I really want to like the Henry Zegras Raquel line. It's just, I don't know if tonight's the night, but their ownership's so low. They're almost fully correlated on the power play. I think you can do some like Zegras, Raquel, Drysdale 3-mans, like to get different, especially if you're building a lot of lineups. I don't know if you're building like 3 to 5. I don't know, playing the Ducks is going to be a long-term profitable strategy, but if you're 20 to 150, I think you can have some of the Ducks here. Especially, the Monahan is just poor defensively. Backlund's pretty good, but Lucic skates in cinder blocks, so I think that can be had. The Lindholm, Kachuk, Gaudreau line, pretty good defensively, but the blue line for the Flames isn't great. They're getting better than they were last year. They did lose Giordano, who fell off a cliff defensively, but I think the Flames could be had here. I just worried, it's the Ducks, but I think if you're MMEing, I think you could definitely have some pieces of the Ducks tonight.
Yeah. So Ducks, not a priority play for me, but if you just look at the ownership that we have projected for them compared to Calgary, like it's not perfectly like negative correlation when you play a team or like play skaters from a team, like you're actively hurting the opposing team. So it's not like if you play Ducks 1 and they score 2 goals, that doesn't mean that Calgary 1's not going to. But it might mean that they're carrying play a little bit more than is expected, and you might not get as many shots for like, Calgary top 2 lines type of thing. So there's probably some negative correlation. I certainly haven't ran the numbers, but it's just the ownership is crazy compared to these 2 teams. Like Calgary 1 and Calgary 3 getting a ton of ownership. And I understand why, like they're definitely in the better spot here. The total is almost a full implied goal higher than the Ducks. But I think, there's players on the Ducks that I think are reasonable tonight. Silfverberg, another one-off third line guy at 4,300, like playing Silfverberg over Coleman, and they're not quite the same price, but like Silfverberg shouldn't be 1/18th of the ownership and play Coleman. I know everyone is excited to play Coleman because he's got a reasonable center in Backlund. But if he's going to be 18%, like I'll probably just go elsewhere or at least be like half the field. I can't imagine playing a ton of Coleman if he's going to be 18%. Same thing with Backlund at 17% right now on DK. Getzlaf, Comtois, that's fine. I'm going to leave off Max Jones if he plays. Like the Ducks, they don't really give out that much information. So we've seen it already in the first 2 games this season where there's been like a surprise guy that's out prior to the game starting. I know Jones played, I think, the first game, or maybe he got scratched the first game and he was expected to play. And then, it's just, they don't play all their lines as you would like them to from a DFS perspective. They kind of even it out between all 4 lines. So Ducks 1, probably my favorite, but I do like the Getzlaf Comtois duo. And I do like Silfverberg as a one-off guy. Their defenseman, you mentioned Drysdale. That's fine. If Cliffy was on here, he'd probably mention Cam Fowler. I mean, never seen a guy love Cam Fowler more than our own Michael Clifford.
That's true.
Josh Manson, I would say that's fine, but if you're trying to chase a blocks bonus, but he's not even that cheap. So even if he gets the blocks bonus, was that 6.9 on DK? Like, you still probably need a little bit extra there at 3,800. So yes, this is a Flames game. I will say, I think in terms of ownership, most of my ownership is going to come to Toronto and Calgary and St. Louis. And if there's one team that gets squeezed out, if these ownership projections hold up, it's going to be Calgary for me. Anything else here?
Yeah, I'm not actively looking to play anyone on the Flames blue line. If you are using the Flames 1, you want to correlate in the power play, Rasmus Andersson is perfectly fine. I'm not going to go out of my way to put 5K Rasmus Andersson in my lineup. And there really isn't great punt options. I guess Christopher Tanev, if you're looking for minutes in a block shot bonus, I prefer him over Josh Manson just because he's $700 cheaper, but that's just grasping at straws.
Matt says, on a 4-game slate, would you consider playing a one-off against your goalie? What would you think, Josh?
I think that's perfectly fine. I don't know if I'm going to go like I'm not going to force it in, but if I happen to get there, I'm not going to be like, wow, I can't do that because I have the goalie. Like, yeah, you're putting in your goalie expecting to shut out, but realistically, how often do goalies get shutouts? You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. I think that's fine for a tournament. I don't actually love it on a 4-game slate. I think for 3-game slates, a lot of times I don't even use players against my goalie. So I would say if you're doing a large field tournament, you don't want that negative correlation in your lineup. But if you were playing, like, so for example, if you were playing, who's the biggest road favorite tonight? Is it Gibson? Or like the cheap road favorite? So Shesterkin. Like if you're playing Shesterkin and you wanted to play Austin Matthews or Kasha or someone just cheap and you needed like the final roster spot, I would say that's fine because Matthews is awesome. He could score a goal, get you the 5-shot bonus. Kasha can get you the 5-shot bonus or score a goal. Then your lineup could still be okay if Shesterkin gets a win. But in general, when I'm building with an optimizer, I try to stay away from that type of thing.
The type of player that makes the most sense on a short slate is shot blocking defenseman.
Yep.
So like chances are he's not going to go flying up the ice and score a goal on your goalie. So you're playing him for the shot blocks, not for the score sheet.
Yeah, defenseman's tough tonight. Like there's no Yossi's tonight. There's no like cheap Brent Burns. Like there's a couple guys in the final game that I like quite a bit. That I'm probably like, it's possible I'm going to end up swapping off a ton if I've got any live lineups with them. But yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. Let's see, 140 people in here. If you guys can hear me talk about the other 2 channels that we've got right now, we've got a fantasy football channel. We've got an Awesemo odds channel, which is sports betting. If you're interested in any one of those, check those out. We've got links to those in the description. It'll send you right to a pop-up that will subscribe you to the channel. So if you're interested in those type of things, or if you just want to help us out and subscribe to those channels, that would be very much appreciated. And I see 61 people have already hit the like button here so far. That is also very much appreciated. That guy should be on the cover of Vogue magazine, not doing a fantasy football live stream. I don't know who they're referring to there.
Certainly not me.
This isn't a fantasy football live stream. Maybe they're in the wrong chat. Yeah, do you know what that's referring to? Is that a previous comment?
No, he's certainly not talking about me. I got a big bald dome. He's talking about your luscious locks on the top of your head there.
Yeah, I don't know about that though, because he said fantasy football. So who knows? I mean, we could probably maybe we could try out for a little Vogue magazine cover. Maybe we could turn this into a fantasy football show. Whatever you like, Bartholomew. Whatever. I'll give up on the rest of the name. But yeah, Larry says love is in the air. It is indeed. Likes are in the air. 70 of you have already hit the like button now. Subscribes are in the air. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'm just going to keep pounding everyone over the head with that until everybody watching the show subscribes and likes. Hockey prop player bets in the future, Jason asked for. We're going to try to have some betting content. If you guys have any ideas for what you'd like outside of like the normal pick stuff for NHL, NBA, we're looking to add to these other channels. The NBA around the corner, we've got a bunch of betting stuff planned for that. So if you like betting props, you're really going to want to go over to the Awesemo odds channel and head over to Odd Shopper as well. If you guys haven't checked out the new Odd Shopper look, it is really awesome with the XROI tool. So if you're in a legal state right now and you're not using Odd Shopper, you're actively giving away money, but you can find bets super, super quick. Have you checked out Odd Shopper, Josh?
Oh, I use it every week because I do a MMA betting article every week, and it gets you guys the best prices. When I write up my articles, I do the odd shopping, get the best prices for you guys. And I got my clocks cleaned last week, but we're bouncing back this week. We'll make some money. But Odd Shopper, if you're any types of bets, man, you got to go check that out. It's the best tool for betting that I've seen. You'll save so much money in the long run on VIG.
Yeah, it's insane. And if you just like to do fun stuff, like we had one on the site, and I wish I could bet these. Like I don't know, it's not legal here yet. But when it is, I'll be joining all these books and be using this in betting hockey props and NBA props, whatever it is, all of our highest XROI stuff, which is just expected ROI based on the simulations and the projections that we have. But you guys really, really, really should check that out if you haven't already. It's completely free. I don't know why it's free, but it is for now. And so if you like betting, if you just want to make some money or bet some really fun parlays, feel free to head on over to OddsShopper. Last game of the night, Josh, we have the Blues and the Coyotes. 3 implied total for St. Louis, 2.5 for the Yotes. Binnington expected to go. Hutton is confirmed for the Yotes. What do you like here? A lot of weird names on the Yotes. Andrew Ladd, Johan Larsson, Ryan Zingle is your second line trio. Boy, does this look bad. What do you like here?
Yeah, this is just brutal. Andrew Ladd in the top 6 in 2021. Like, if you told me that a few years ago, I'd laugh in your face. Like, Andrew Ladd? And he's min-priced. Like, the Yotes second line is almost completely min-priced on DraftKings. I'm pretty sure the Yotes lineup, from a forward standpoint, is the worst in the league. Like, I know the Sabres are pretty bad too, but this Yotes lineup is atrocious. Like, I want to like the Yotes tonight because I'm not a Jordan Binnington guy, and he is coming in over 20%. So there is something that I would love to stack against, but holy cow, there's just not a line that I can get behind here. Like,
Lawson Krause season?
Yeah, Lawson Krause season.
Top power play with Keller.
Yeah, Keller, it's not bad, but then you see his center. It's Jake from State Farm. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't like a full line I can handle here. Like, Nick Schmaltz is okay with Phil Kessel, but then they're tied to Louis Eriksson like it's 2007. The second line, Andrew Ladd, Johan Larsson, Ryan Zingle, like, that would be maybe a fourth line on half the NHL teams. Krause and Keller, pretty good. That's not a bad 2-man. But Travis Boyd, like, come on. And then that fourth line, like Jay Beagle, come on. Christian Fischer, 2,700 power play 1, maybe. The thing is, like, the Blues are a really good and deep team. I'm just not a huge believer in Binnington. But it's just so hard for me to get behind anything on the Coyotes tonight outside of Jacob Chikrin, 6,500, playing like half the game a night. He played 27 minutes last game. He's going to be playing 25 minutes plus all season. I think he's the guy, and he's going to be popular, but I think easily he's one of the best defensive plays tonight. If you want to, put in a Krause Keller, I think that would be the line I'd go to. I would imagine they're going to avoid the Ryan O'Reilly matchup, which is really the matchup you want to avoid when facing the Blues. They slow down the play so much. So if you do have to go somewhere on the Yotes, I don't mind that call, Keller. Even if you want a 2-man, like a Keller and a Chikrin. I know Chikrin, for some reason, not on the top power play. It is Shane Gostisbehere, which is a discussion for another day, but I don't mind that 2-man. And on the Blues side, I think there is a lot to like today. And their ownership's in check here. So, that top line, Saad, O'Reilly, Perron, 9%. Like, we've seen O'Reilly, Perron just go absolutely crazy in games where, they get 4 or 5 points. I like them tonight. I like that second line, Kyrou, Shen, Buchnevich. Rangers, I really like that second line.
Yeah.
I think I like that second line more than the top line. If you want to use O'Reilly, Perron, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, they're a very good combo. I just like, because of, price for total line, that second line, if you want to, and even if you want to dip down to that third line, 2-man, like a Robert Thomas and Vladimir Tarasenko, like Tarasenko being in the bottom 6 and it actually making sense, like, just shows how deep this team is. If you want to add in James Neal, that's fine, but I think you can get away with a 2-man. So this is a Blues game for me. And if you look at the blue line, I know we'll get there in a second, but 4,200 Colton Pyarko, like, way too cheap.
Yep. I agree with pretty much everything you said. Although I am a sick person, I will probably be playing more than the field share of Arizona tonight, and probably not even their top line. Like, I'm getting some Andrew Ladd lineups, like, more than I'm comfortable with. Like, it's pretty bad. So, by the way, someone needs to clip those few seconds of Josh not being able to talk after the Buchnevich trade, talking about his home team, his Rangers. So we'll get that clipped.
Parayko. Yeah, I always mess up his name. Like, you guys can roast me for the names. Parayko. And I will say, Jake, you love the Yotes. You got the Brad Richardson 4-goal game a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a ton of Lad, I don't think you should fight it. He's going to have a hat trick tonight.
Look, yeah, he's 1% owned, as are most of the Yotes. Keller and Krause getting some ownership just because they're PP1 guys. If you want to do a 2-man like that, or just with Keller as a one-off, I mean, he's the goal scorer, but it's cheap and they're projected to score 2.5 goals. If it somehow, one line somehow gets a couple of those, that's probably going to be okay or good enough to be in a winning lineup. So if the goals are concentrated to one line or a few players, you could be in business here with this late night Coyotes hammer. It's ugly though. It's ugly. I like the Blues a lot. So talking about these top 4 teams, you got the Leafs, you got the Flyers, you got the Flames, and then the Blues. Did I say it? Yeah, I said Flyers, Flames, and Blues. Blues just not being at home is probably bringing their ownership down a little bit. I liked what I saw with the Perron line with O'Reilly a couple nights ago against Colorado. Granted they were missing McKinnon, but I like the second line a lot. I'll talk about them when I get to my hat trick pick that Josh is really not going to like. And then St. Louis 3 actually looks really good as well. So yeah, a lot of third lines getting some ownership tonight. You mentioned Parayko, 4,200, great price for him there. Gostisbehere would only be in like Arizona PP1 stacks. Chikrin's my highest owned guy right now. Like I said, I might end up pivoting off a bunch of him, especially in the lower field, the smaller field stuff. I've got a lineup that's doing okay heading into that final game. Might have to just leave some salary on the table and go to Justin Falk to just try to get a Hail Mary. But yeah, Chikrin's my guy tonight. Highest owned player for me right now. I think that probably sticks. Yeah, this game pretty ugly on the Coyote side. Blue side looks awesome for not only full stacks, but 2-mans. Thomas, Tarasenko, Neal, Buchnevich, Shen. Like there's a lot to like on this Blues side. Anything else here?
Victor Soderstrom, power play 2, 2,900. I know I'm not even sure power play 1 matters for the Yotes, but power play 2, 2,900. He's a good young player. Andrew Ladd's on power play 2. So if Jake's getting a bunch of Andrew Ladd, just lock button Soderstrom. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But I don't mind him as a one-off.
Yeah, I don't want my name to be tied to Andrew Ladd unless he gets a hat trick tonight. Then I wouldn't mind.
My name got tied to Mark Stahl all last season. So
what'd you say?
I said my name got tied to Mark Stahl all last season. So
yeah,
it could be worse.
You're free to bring him up on one show, but as soon as you start to do it a couple times, then you're in trouble. People start to remember that. So got to be careful with the players you tout on this show. I guess we got some
these guys
pretty good members watching this show all the time, and they don't forget things. People don't forget, Josh. All right, before we get to hat trick picks, upcoming shows on this channel are as follows. The Yahoo, thank you again to Yahoo for sponsoring the show. We've got a live NFL show. So if you're playing NFL tonight and you're playing over on Yahoo, Monday Night Football Baller, 150K prize pool over there, 12% management fee, 3 p.m. Eastern coming up in a few minutes. PGA Strategy, 5 p.m. Eastern. MLB show, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then the NFL Deeper Dive and Line Before Lock for Titans Bills. A lot of money to be won in NFL tonight. A lot of money to be won in NHL tonight, Josh. Who is your hat trick pick?
Going William Nylander.
All right, there you go. Double down. I will go with your boy, Pavel Buchnevich, as my hat trick pick. I know you're really going to be rooting against that one. Just try to twist the knife a little bit.
I'm probably going to play him tonight. I know Awesemo is paying for my therapy to get over that trade, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, just send an invoice to support@awesemo.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. Josh and Cliffy will be back tomorrow. I think we got a big 9-gamer. Thanks to producer Mike for getting us going. Give him some love in the chat. And thanks for joining. Good luck, guys.